I reached in my glove box, unholstered my pistol. I mean, I practice this. I'm at the Fort Malabar Rifle and Pistol Range. I'm an avid, gun guy and all that. No military training or anything, but I have friends who are in the military that show me the
proper way.
Yes, and so quicker in a flash, I had a round chambered in it, and I shot.
In the early evening of November 23, 2012, the city of Jacksonville, Florida became the epicenter of a chilling crime. As families were enjoying the warm embrace of the Thanksgiving holiday, one confrontation at a local gas station would shatter the peace and ignite debates on race, justice, and the value of a young life. Michael Dunn, a 45-year-old software developer, had driven into the city with his girlfriend to attend a wedding. Dunn found himself irritated by loud music coming from a nearby vehicle while he waited at a gas station. Inside that vehicle were 4 teenagers. Among them was 17-year-old Jordan Davis. Before we get to what happened, let's take a closer look at these people involved. Michael Dunn hailed from a background that could be considered unremarkable. The day's events would reveal a darker, more volatile side of Dunn, contrasting sharply with his otherwise mundane daily life. His relationship with his girlfriend, who was present during the incident, was also nothing out of the ordinary. On the other side of this tragic tale was Jordan Davis, a high school junior with a life full of promise ahead of him. Known for his friendly demeanor and love for music, Jordan was the definition of youthful optimism. His passing left a void in the lives of his family and friends.
Jordan is driving me when you say, don't you get tired? All I have is my words to change people's minds, to stop people from killing, especially killing these kids. When murdering our youth, we're murdering society, and we're murdering our tomorrow.
Going back to the incident on the gas station, the disagreement over the volume of the music soon spiraled into a deadly confrontation. Dunn, feeling threatened, retrieved a firearm from his car and fired multiple shots into the teenager's vehicle, fatally striking young Jordan Davis. As Dunn fled the scene, the reality of what had transpired began to settle in. A family was now torn apart, a community in uproar, and a nation once again forced to face the ugly face of racial hatred.
There's just this widespread relief.
We know that God has a greater purpose for Jordan's death and for what we're now doing.
The subsequent arrest of Michael Dunn and the courtroom battle that followed would lay bare the details of that fateful night. The prosecution and defense would go back and forth over the interpretation of the events, the intent behind Dunn's actions, and the consequences of a culture plagued by racial tension. The prosecution was determined to present a case rooted in racial hate, portraying Dunn's actions as an overreaction driven by prejudice. Rightfully so, they pointed to the lack of any real threat posed by Jordan and his friends, countering Dunn's claim of self-defense. On the other hand, the defense sought to paint Dunn as a man pushed to the brink, fearing for his life in a heated confrontation that spiraled out of control.
They really had no choice. Without his testimony, there was no evidence of self-defense. All you had was a man shooting 9 times into a car with a bunch of teenagers. He would easily be convicted, so he had to get on the stand. He had to explain why he fled the scene and why he didn't call 911.
They emphasized Dunn's claim of seeing a weapon as a pivotal moment that triggered his fight-or-flight response. This was later on determined to be unfounded. The defense built a narrative around a perceived threat that left Dunn with no choice but to act in self-defense, despite the tragic outcome.
I just want to tell you thank you. Thank you for loving me.
They meticulously dissected the sequence of events, attempting to shed light on Dunn's state of mind during those crucial moments, asserting that fear, not racial discrimination, was the driving force behind his actions. While the defense fought to humanize Dunn, portraying him as a victim of circumstance caught in a complicated situation, the prosecution remained firm, underscoring the fatal consequences of Dunn's rash actions born out of prejudice. Rhonda Rower, Michael Dunn's former girlfriend, played a significant role in the courtroom as her testimony provided a first-hand account of the events. On their way back to their hotel, they stopped at the Gate gas station to purchase wine and chips. It was here that they encountered Jordan Davis and his friends. Ruhr recounted that Dunn expressed his dislike for the thug music coming from the teenager's vehicle. While Ruhr was inside the store, the confrontation escalated. Upon hearing the gunshots, Ruhr hurried back to see Dunn at the driver's side window of the teen's vehicle. Following his boyfriend's angry instructions, she got into the car and they sped off to their hotel, only to leave the next morning. During her testimony, Ruhr was emotional, shedding tears as she recounted the details of that day. At the time of the trial, the two were no longer together, having been engaged and living together at the time of the shooting. She then testified that Dunn did not initially mention seeing a weapon, contradicting Dunn's claim of acting in self-defense. As testimonies were delivered and evidence scrutinized, the national spotlight on the case intensified, reflecting the collective consciousness of a society grappling with racial discord. The verdict, when it came, was considered justice by many. Today, Michael Dunn is serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Additionally, he received a 90-year sentence for 3 attempted murders of Jordan's friends. The enduring impact of this case continues to serve as a reminder of racial tensions and their dark consequences.